As sophisticated as our film tastes may be now, we all started watching movies from a somewhat rudimentary level. Though we'd wish we had been watching Tarkovsky or Buñuel since childhood, that isn't always the case. Whether it was watching whatever was in theaters or what was recommended by parents, friends, or siblings, we all had a film we'd watch that acted as a gateway drug into our obsession with moving pictures. Most of these gateway films we all share in common. It's usually the same cycle of films that none of us can bring our hearts to remove from our top four favorites. So let's talk about what makes these particular films gateway films. La La Land, Pulp Fiction, and Interstellar. The three films that many cinephiles claim to be overrated yet still hold a soft spot for. These are the films right on the brink before you get really into cinema. All three films are grand and special. They aren't grand in the ambiguous form of 2001 A Space Odyssey, nor grand in the traditional sense of Ran or Lawrence of Arabia. But they are the grand, almost epics of our generation. That's exactly why so many cinephiles started here. Amidst all the banal films at the time, these films stood as testaments that storytelling can be striking and original. Their nature encourages us to be interested in films beyond stories, which only spikes our curiosities on the process of filmmaking itself, making us ask questions like, what is a director? What films inspired this? How did they make a shot like that? And so on. So though now deep into our film interests, these films may not seem as nuanced, they still hold importance for being the reason we saw film as an art form. Then, on the opposite end, comes films that are more minimalist: Lady Bird, Before Sunrise, Whiplash, and Black Swan. At the end of the day, before we really see something as art, we must see something that touches our soul. These three films I see often circulating our community are films that reflected someone's true inner turmoil. That relatability they felt watching these films helped better understand something within them, that then began a journey to watch films that could do the same. These are films that helped them see cinema as something beyond entertainment, and rather something cathartic, which only led them to appreciate the form beyond just an art form and a pastime. When you get a medium that mixes all the art forms into one, you get the opportunity to really lure your audience in by taking advantage of it all, taking advantage of the sound, the dialogue, and the visuals. Fight Club, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Grand Budapest Hotel understands this. These films have a palpability that intrigued us to learn more about filmmaking itself. Filmmaking, in its use of technicals, elevates the story into something beyond just a normal film experience. Their kinetic energy, from their cuts to their use of sound or elaborate production design, has us all asking questions like, why does this film look prettier than most films? How does that film go back and forth on the timeline without confusing me? Why does the film feel like that? All questions that spark our interest into cinema and into the early stages of becoming a cinephile.
I think people are perverts. I've maintained that. That's the foundation of my career.
American Psycho, Gone Girl, and Donnie Darko, uncomfortable works. The strange and candidness of these films hooks us, and its vulgarness draws us into a world of real cinema. Unlike films with happy endings or polished, perfect lives, these uncomfortable films revealed an entire world of stories that are crude and blunt and absurd. Though these films stand as tame compared to the predecessor nihilist films we may love now, A Clockwork Orange and whatnot, these were doors to open to our conditioned mind on what cinema could be. It has us wondering why we had been force-fed fantasies all this time when cinema could be so much more. Then finally, the holy trinity of gateway films, The Shawshank Redemption, 12 Angry Men, and The Godfather. There's a reason that not only is it on every online list of top films of all time, but also on many people's 4 favorites. There's a reason why you're met with a condescending, "You've never seen it before?" after every confession. The deeper you dive into becoming a cinephile, the more these films' effect may be lost on you. However, you can't deny their place in cinematic history and in our own journey. So, what is it about this film that lures generation after generation into getting into movies? If I'm honest with you, it's just good, whether you want to admit that or not. Its writing is solid, thorough, and entertaining. But it isn't just one of those good scripts we forget about days later. It's the quintessential of good commercial writing that sticks with you and has an impact on you to think about life on a larger scale. So, yes, you may now find it basic and maybe some of you dull, but there was a much younger version of you that believed it to be the holy grail of cinema, and I wouldn't say they were 100% wrong. Expanding your film taste is a necessary and rewarding journey. The further down the road you get to discovering new niches in the world, the more these films float further away from your mind, and the less things you are able to appreciate about it. While it's great to learn more about what cinema has to offer and what influenced what you used to love, it's important to never forget the films that brought you here in the first place. After all, you wouldn't know about the George Cukors or the Akira Kurosawas or the Agnes Vardas without the Spielbergs, Scorseses, and Sofia Coppolas to show you.